everybody, I have today the September wrap-up. I know I'm late, but I had a vacation in September. I traveled, I went and see my parents, I relaxed, I even made a video on how my city looks like. If you want to check it out. And all in all, it was quite a productive month reading-wise. I had the time to read in the transportation while I was traveling. I actually tried it audiobooks, which is a new thing for me because I can't stand audiobooks. But I was lucky to find some audiobooks that not only read, but they had music in the background and birds and everything. So I really enjoyed it. I think that I would give another chance to audiobooks. I'm quite impressed. So this month I managed to read a total of 14 books. I know it sounds a lot, but they were small books because I had a reading slump, and I will post the video from the beginning of the month and you will see my crampy face and non-enthusiastic. Hi everybody, I'm making an effort to get out of my reading slump, so I chose more thick books this month. I don't really care, my only goal is to get back on reading, so they are really tiny. I managed to read I Am My Own Wife by Doug Wright. This is a winning Pulitzer Prize winning book, and I was so curious because it has these descriptions: the dramatic event of the year, marvelous. I read it, not very impressed. I mean, it's the story of a transvestite that survived the Nazi regime and then the Soviet regime, and her miraculous survival. I really liked the idea. I didn't like the way it was delivered. Either way, check it out if you have the time. The next one, I was really excited to get my hands on this one, Chuck Palahniuk, Stranger Than Fiction. And then, to my surprise, it contains the same stories that were in the previous book I read by Chuck Palahniuk. Non-fiction. So basically, if you have this book, it contains the majority of the selection in this book. So it's the same. So for me, it was a reread. I really enjoyed it, and I only paid more attention to the new stories, which were quite a few. The next book that I finished was Heart of Darkness, a very descriptive story by Joseph Conrad, by the way. I did not enjoy it at all. It was all about a sea and ships and pirates, and they were not in an adventure-ish kind of way. It was a descriptive kind of way, so I did not enjoy it at all. Now I am reading The Forgotten Waltz. It's by Anne Enright. I think it's qualified as a YA, but it was shortlisted for a national prize in Ireland, and I was curious to give it a try. So far I really enjoy it. I want to see the finish and the grand finale. Right after that, I was traveling and I was reading in the bus Sacred and Profane by Marcelle Bernstein. Marcelle Bernstein, I'm not sure. It was so great. I think that this book was what brought me back to reading and brought me back to adventure. It's such an amazing book. I don't know how nobody mentioned this to me before. Well, it's quite an old book if you think about it. It's from 1997, I think, 1995 or 1996. But still, it is a great adventure. I recommend it to everybody that likes mystery, adventure. It is the story about two twin girls, and I've learned so many things from this. Again, it's such a good book. Read it. I will probably make a review of this separate. After that, I went home. I'm a mixed. My mother is Russian, my father is Romanian. Great combination. So I was home, I had the chance to spend some time with my parents, and then I got melancholic and I started reading rereading my favorite Russian books, and they were audiobooks. I started reading Snegurocica, which is the Snow Child, in preparation to read the book that is now so popular on YouTube. Then I read The Wild Swans by Hans Christian Andersen. Of course, it's not Russian, but it's still one of my favorite stories. I read Queen of Spades by Cehov. Then Eugene Oneghin by Alexander Sergeyevich Pushkin, Uncle Vania, also Cehov, The Cherry Orchard, also a really, really nice play of Cehov. And I have to say that they brought back so many memories. If you have a chance to read Russian literature classics, give it a chance. It's a totally different experience. You will learn so much more about Russian spirituality or about a different culture. Just give it a try. You will absolutely love it. I posted recently top 5 my favorite Russian books, and you can check it out. I speak about most of my amazing experiences with these Russian books there. The next one that I read was I finished March by Geraldine Brooks. I have to say this was a difficult book for me because I don't know that much about the Civil War in the United States. It was a difficult book. I'm happy I read it. It was very informative for me. I didn't enjoy it as I was hoping to. I enjoyed very much the ending. So if you can go until middle, then you will start enjoying the story. It has a lot of violent images just because it was based on reality. How slaves were trying to become independent, how the white people were trying to keep that under control. It has a lot of violent images just because it was based on reality, on real facts. All in all, if you are curious about this subject, give it a try. It's such an interesting book, but I did not enjoy it. I liked it, I did not enjoy it. Reference to Ariel Bisset's description of liking and enjoying it and appreciating. The next book that I read was The Daughter of the River by Hong Ying. This is a autobiography of a young Chinese girl, and she lived under the communist system of Mao, I think, yeah, Mao. And this, I don't know if you can classify liking or not liking an autobiography. It's their life. It's not like you have the choice of liking the style or not liking. I enjoyed this book. I must say that there are so many details of the communist life that we didn't know, and we can find out about it. And mainly you find out about the sensation, about the her experience as a child and then later as a grown-up. What shocked me very much is that in this communist system, or at least this is what the book presents it, there is no individuality at all. Of course, you will tell me, duh, this is the communist system which had the main idea of bringing everybody as a common people, common nation, but they didn't even talk to each other on their names. They had 6 brothers, I think, and they were all little 6, sister 4, sister 2, brother 3. Seriously? Seriously? At least this is your first individual sign that you have a name. And then other shocking things of a simple matter of life that they had to do it differently, like going to the toilet or going to the hospital, or you can find out more from this book. I've never heard anybody reading this book, so if you read it, please let me know, because I feel like all alone reading my own books. The next book, I'm not even excited for this. It was just a easy read, A Handful of Manhood. I was tricked by the cover. I thought it would be a very girlish book, but it was not. It was... I was so pissed when I started reading this. But then I finished it. It was not the greatest book ever, but it was giving me some ideas of life too, so I appreciate that too. So it's the story about a German guy who is turned 60 and he realizes that he is really bored and he wants to get a divorce and find a young lover, because what you do is when you get bored and you're 60. It's just then his wife doesn't want to give up, and you will find out the rest in the book. It's not the greatest, but it's fun. And that was all. Another book I read was a Romanian book, Singur sub duș. I will post a review later for my Romanian fellows out there. And I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much, and please let me know, have you read any of my books? I just feel like I'm a pariah. Nobody's reading my books. Or maybe I'm not reading their books. I don't know. Have a nice day. Bye.